Welcome to this Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, theciaellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever-changing world. Today is May 27, 2023, and it is episode 32, A Change of Seasons in a Different Form. Okay, first of all, farm happenings. We got another inch of rain. I'd say one day we had zero point 0.8 inches of rain and another one was 0.2, so yeah, an inch. Okay, and I have a really cool thing where it does radio frequency and tells you how what the wind is and what the temperature is. But I think because the part that sends it is way down by the vineyard and I'm way up here on the hill, it's not always accurate. And so I have a regular um, rain gauge that I check and empty every time it rains, and so that's how that works. And we're hoping that I get my head on straight before I get too much further down the road in this podcast. So we got an inch of rain. Last Saturday, Tom prepped more garden bed area and got more tomatoes and peppers transplanted into the ground. And actually, he's out there working in the garden again. So I'm not sure what he's planning on doing today, but he's working there, and I'm fine with that because I am not a gardener, and I was tired of trying to be a gardener. uh, Last week, if you remember, I got took some birds tube with a processor. Took 41 Cornish cross chickens, and I left them sitting in the ice chest cool for 24 hours so they could go through the rigor mortis thing. And then I put them in the freezer and I put them on top so they could freeze hard. And then I could go back and rearrange them. And so that's what I did Saturday. I completely emptied my very largest freezer because that's the one that carries all the chicken and stuff. And I added some stuff to my. I put ducks in with my small old chest freezer that has the turkeys in it. So I've got turkeys and ducks in the small chest freezer, and the miscellaneous stuff in my upright freezer. But my big freezer had to completely empty it, put my newest stuff on bottom, rearrange it, and got all that done. That felt good to get that done, and I did it without them being. I think I told you guys last time I did it. I put my newest stuff on bottom, and they weren't frozen, and some of my chickens got squished. So they were frozen, and we're good to go now. So that's what I did last Saturday. Oh my gosh, guys, the piglets are growing fast, and they're eating. And they still small enough that they still go through the electric fence, and I guess they're going to be able to do it anyway. I don't know, but if you go out there, you'll look, and there's like two of them out in the field munching away on grass. As soon as you walk up, they run for mom. So far that's good, but they're a month old, and so that means I really need to get going and get advertising and see if I can get some of them sold, and see what I can do about that. This is a part that is definitely brand new to me, is the marketing of what I have. At first, I had to learn how to grow the piglets, and then I had to learn how to breed them, and now and then deliver them. Make sure they come into the world well. And we all know how poorly that went the first time, but. Yep, I've got that, and now I've got to learn how to sell them. So, yep, there's always something to learn, but they are growing quickly, but they're still pretty cute. Kenzie and I got passport paperwork turned in. I wanted to give her another tool that she may need or may not need. Kenzie and I may want to go on a cruise or something one day down the road. And that's so I thought, okay, if we do that, I want to have passports. I had one previously years ago. Tom and I applied for passports. He had carpal tunnel surgery done on both hands at the same time. And so there was like a 6-week period. And this was like 25 years ago, maybe not that, 15 years ago, something like that, where they do a full open up incision on your hand to fix it. And I think it's cool now because a man in our Sunday school class, he had carpal tunnel surgery done on one of his hands, and they're able to do it scopically now, which is very cool. And he's recovered a lot faster. But Tom took 6 weeks off because he needed it, because they opened his hand up with stuff. But after he got all the anesthesia out of his systems, we actually had a really good time driving around doing stuff. And one of the things that we did during that period was apply for our passports. But life went on, and our passports expired, and so now had to start all over. But we got done. And another thing that's happening is we started college paperwork. There's a thing called Oklahoma Promise, because right now Tom and I just don't make a whole lot of money at all, and because Kinsey is our dependent, we've had her since she was 11 years old legally. We've applied for what they call Oklahoma Promise. I can't remember what it's called, like a Pell Grant, something like that, to see if we can get her in college if she wants to. I don't know what she wants to do. She's going to be a junior this year. And, all of us, we don't, okay, I say all of us. There's a rare person who knows exactly what they want to do when they're in high school, but most of us didn't have a clue. And that's kind of what she's doing right now. But we got the paperwork started. I've done a lot of paperwork this last week. But we're getting it wound up wound up, and I think we're about to get it wrapped up. That's the word I want. Okay. All right. My three things for the day was to move the adult birds. We got that done. I have to wait for Tom. Okay, I don't have to wait for Tom to do it, but it's a big chore to move the mobile egg unit. You gotta hook it up to the pickup, and then we're wading through grass right now. Oh my gosh, it's thigh high and full of ticks. Yeah. So if you see a tick crawling, then you'll see me pull it off here in a few minutes, because I've already pulled several off of me. And yeah, just thinking about it makes you itch, doesn't it? But I need his help just to get him moving. I got to remember to put my dogs in the house before I open up the pen and shoot them to the next thing. Okay, and I really wish that I had done a different design than what I did for my mobile egg unit. It's a nice mobile egg unit. It does a good job, but by the time we get out there to get them moved and stuff, I'm not even sure some of them even go to bed. Most of them roost on the tongue of the trailer and stuff like that. So they're not even going inside the mobile egg unit like they should do. I would like to be able to do like Justin Rosen do, have where they close them up at night. They can keep them closed up until they come out, and then so we can just move the birds, move everything without all that. But I don't. The birds are running around. I've got ducks and roosters and hens all squawking and running around, and especially when Beethoven, and he's not hurting them. He's trying to herd them, and he's trying to help, but he scatters them. Oh my gosh. And thank God they don't take up the whole 40 acres when they run, but it's plenty enough. But we got that done, and because that is a chore to get them moved, and I got Tom's help for that, and I was glad. Number two is to do the podcast, and that's what I'm doing today. Um, you know, I'm enjoying doing these podcasts. I really am. I like doing the research to go into them beforehand. I like talking to you guys, even though you really, we're not talking, we're not conversing, and then, I'm learning about how to getting them out where people can listen to them at their convenience, and they don't have to, live stream is pretty cool, but I don't know. I like it the way I'm doing it right here. And number three is to watch the OU softball game. Those guys are kicking butt, and they're very fun to watch. And it's kind of cool to talk with Kenzie about it because she does softball. All right, what I am reading. I'm still in that 4-volume set, the Edgar Cayce collection. And I'm on this first section of it is Edgar Cayce on Dreams by Harmon H. Bro, PhD. This is what he had written was in 1968 as part of the Association of Research and Science, Research and Enlightenment. And we're on chapter 7. So on page 82, it says, to interpret a dream, one compares the dream to his outward affairs, as well as his inward thoughts and feelings and intents. And so basically what he's saying is what's going on in your life that could have facilitated this dream in order for you to learn to interpret it. Now, how do you feel about the dream and in the interpretation that you're getting on it? So, that's what I got from that one. On page 84, individuals cannot expect to drift forever. If they do not puzzle out their identity and the direction of their lives by the aid of their dreams, which every normal person should try to do, then they be brought to relentless action of their own pent-up souls with some crisis which requires that they come to terms with themselves. So if you don't spend the time trying to figure out the direction your life is going and attempt to interpret the meaning of your dreams, it is likely that you'll have to endure a crisis to come to this understanding, is basically what he's trying to say there. And on page 86, one should trust his soul and his maker to supply what he needed in the night. He told others, as Cayce told others. Working responsibly with dreams is not the same as forcing them to substitute for living. So trust God. Trust the God that's sending you the information that you need by the way of your dreams. He did it for Joseph. He did it in the and others in the Bible. He can do it for you. We just got to learn how to. And I think a lot of times when we pray, what I come away from this too is when we pray, we tell God what we want. We tell him our needs, and we hope that we're having them listened. And how many of you have also said that sometimes you think you're praying and it doesn't get any further than the ceiling? And I think part of the problem with that is that you pray, but you're not taking the time to listen. You're not taking the time to see what he really is having to say to you. You're putting your stuff out there and you're going, oh God, I need this, I need this, I need that. And then you get him go about your day or go to sleep or whatever. And you're not listening to what he has to say to you. So it could be possible, according to Casey, that he's answering your needs by way of listening to his prayers and by way of dreams and listening to his prayers. I'm still listening to Atlas Shrugged. I know I go through slowly. I know, like Tool and Tim on his Toolman workshop, uh, he listens to audiobooks and he like wades his way through them pretty quickly. And even at 64 hours, it took a few days. But because I only listen to mine for an hour or so on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and stuff, I've got a long way to go. But I may still talk to you a little bit about it, but I think what I've discovered is I've really have been touched by this book and just listening to it. And I ordered a hard copy of it so I can go back and read it, and read it and highlight it and think about it as I'm reading it then, because I have a tendency, I'm a person that is in the moment. I like to do things in the moment, and I don't always realize and understand a lesson that's being laid out for me because I'm just, keep on going and doing my thing. So I'm probably going to listen to this again when I'm done with it, and I'm going to read it in hardcover. I mean, it's a paperback book, but I'm probably going to read it so I can do highlighting and stuff too, so that I can actually absorb the intricate messages that are in it. This woman did a lot of thinking. She did a lot of studies on human behavior, thought processes, and along with her beliefs on what happened during this thing. So there's a lot to uncover there, and I'm not getting them uncovered. So I may or may not talk to you too much more about Atlas Shrugged here for right now, but every once in a while, if I come up with something, I will say it. And one of them is, and I couldn't even remember. I didn't notate it when I did it. One of them, what they call the looters, is that they think if you have the money, if you have the ability to do things. I think it was Dagny and her brother, and so I think her brother was kind of whining at her. I believe that's where it was, because she's not a looter. She's the one that's trying to keep the world running and going and get doing, and he would rather have people take care of him. And I believe it was him. He says, "You have the privilege of strength, while I have the right of weakness." And that was his quote, to state that he felt like he wasn't one of the ones that was given strength, so he was given weakness, and you got to take care of him. So like I said, I may talk to you more about this book in the future. I may not so much, but I've really enjoyed it. I'm really liking it. And I'm kind of looking forward to digging a little bit deeper in it. And from what little I've studied on the internet to get some of my pieces, it looks like in some places there might even be a college course, which I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Okay, my quote of the day is, "The mind is its own place, and in itself it can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven," by John Milton. And John Milton was the former Secretary of Foreign Tongues by the Council of State of England, who lived from 1608 to 1674. And he wrote epic poetry, including Paradise Lost and then down the road, Paradise Gained. And there were 2 or 3 other pieces that he had written. But his personal truth here is, the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. John Milton. Okay, my main subject. We're kind of scooting along today, aren't we? Change of seasons. Okay, so yeah, we're in the middle of the spring season. We've been doing that for a while. So as far as actual weather seasons, we're not. But school is out now for Kenzie. She's been out for, I don't know, maybe a week. And so that's a change of season where a kid is doing things daily, getting up every morning, going to school and doing that stuff. And now she's home more, which guys, I'm sorry. I hope you enjoy your kids as much as I've enjoyed this child. Yeah, we've had some troubles and stuff, but I am so grateful this girl is in my life. And since she's been home, there's some things that we've been doing together, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed being with her. So now that school's out, that's changed. Of course, that changes my time stuff too. Um, the girl that stays with us during the week, now that school's out, she has a friend, lives in a town, I don't know, a couple hours away, where this girl has not lived in this section of the country for but just a year or two. Her home is basically north of Oklahoma City. And so she's got friends, she's got grandma down there and stuff, but she's going to school here. And I like having her here during the week, but she's going to be gone for 3 weeks too. I guess she's staying with her grandma, she's staying with her friend, and then we're going on a vacation. So yeah, this girl's going to be gone for about 3 weeks. And that changes things for Kinsey. So that's another reason I'm enjoying spending some time with Kinsey, because she's had a roommate for several months now, and now she's going to be is basically alone and back there, and nobody to really talk to. Because okay, Kinsey doesn't talk to me about the important stuff that girls go through, but she doesn't have a friend for that for right now. But she does have other friends, and she's been running. In fact, she had just spent the night with another friend last night. So she does have that, but she doesn't have that friend who's been under our roof for several months now. Oh, almost a year. Golly. I think so. Wow. And and the recreational league that she was on for softball is over. They did exceptionally well. And then I found out later they were some of the older people. They were their team was some of the older kids, but still they did good. They were. I think they went undefeated. I think one of the one game that was called for weather, it was a tie game. So yeah, I believe they've been undefeated. But that's over. And even though it was recreational, um, I still think it was good. Kinsey has an innate talent for softball, and I really think that she could really uh, take it down the road. And so we've kind of talked about it, and I've expressed a desire for her in the future. Any league that she does outside of schools, it should be a competitive league, which means it'll be money and time and money and some traveling and stuff. But you know what? If she's enjoying softball that much and she is that good at it, then by golly, I will do what it takes to get her to do that. And so that's what we're doing now. Well, not real. No, we're not. We're that season. The recreational league is over. So she last week though, um, there was a basketball camp for elementary and junior high kids, and Kinsey was one of the teenagers. And I actually had to stop by one day down at the gym we had to go someplace. And guys, I'm sorry, I know these schools have a mess, but the people who run these schools, all schools have problems, but I really, really like how they take care of a bunch of stuff here. And we go in there, and there's kids running around everywhere. Well, they're not. Actually, they're not. They were really disciplined. They kept them under control, and the kids were learning and doing a good job. Um, and it was nice to see that. But there was a lot of teenagers there, girls and boys. I have to admit, I knew Kinsey was going to volunteer, but I didn't realize that there were going to be so many other volunteers from the high schoolers, and including the guys. There were some guys there, so it was really good to watch that. And I was glad that Kinsey was doing that. Now this coming week she has, I don't know what it's called, it's some sort of camp too, and apparently they're going someplace else to play. I think they said like 11 games in 3 days, but somebody else said that they're just going to be mini games. So I don't know, but so Kinsey's actually going to be playing basketball this coming week and getting ready for that new season. And that's cool too. We're trying to make vacation plans. The girls want to go back to Branson and do Silver Dollar City, but man, we can't find a decent place to stay that's under $100. And I don't want to spend well over $100 for just a little cabin or just a motel room or something like that. And I understand all this stuff is going up in price, but income has not gone up in price. And and then they want to do Silver Dollar City again. There's one particular roller coaster they love, which is I think is funny. They love it, and it's never even mentioned in brochures or anything. And I think part of the reason they like it, I mean, they like the ride itself, but part of the reason they like it is because there's usually not a big line with it either. So I don't know, but so now and we can and everything's booked for, and this was like 3 weeks away that we were wanting to go on this vacation, and everything's booked. So we're trying to rethink what we want to do. We can't be gone for too long. I hadn't even found a sitter because we don't know for really when we're going. So I haven't found a farm sitter, and so there's a lot of things that are still up in the air that I haven't gotten them done. So I don't know what we're going to do, but one way or another, we can't stay gone for a long time, uh, money wise and farm sitter wise and all that other stuff. And I think Kinsey has found that disappointing, but hey, if we can figure out some place to go to do something, that would be good. Okay, but like I said, schools just got out a week or so ago. We're already gearing up for the next school year. Like I said, basketball camp, school softball season starts in July. Yeah, that's a month or so away. And then, but we're trying to do the scholarships and stuff. There's, I need to be starting to get all the footage I have for Kinsey together on the softball field and on the basketball court that is good stuff so that we can have it for scouts or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but I know a friend of mine, uh, she submits footage and puts it somewhere so that scouts can see that footage too, because her boy likes softball and he does shot put and stuff like that too. So she puts a lot of his stuff out there. And so I need to figure out how to get that done and get Kinsey's name out there because, and if she doesn't want to do this on down the road, okay, but if she does, I want to be prepared. I want to have the tools that she needs to do what she wants to do and to excel in it. And so that's what we're doing is we're gearing up for the next thing. One thing comes winding down and you get thrown into the middle of the next one. I have a couple of stories of the day. One of them is okay. So I'm doing that Podmatch and stuff, and I was trying to, and so you listen to different podcasts that you normally do. And one of them is called Bleeding Daylight Podcast, and apparently it's a Christian, and I think he's in Australia or something. I can't remember where he is, and but he talks about different ways that God has worked in people's lives and stuff. And this particular one uh, was about a German man that was helping the Jews during World War II, and he knew any time that he could be caught and stuff. And they had a farm, and it was a dairy farm. And the boy, I can't remember how old he was. He wasn't that old, but he was supposed to help with milking the cattle. If Dad was home, though, then he only had to help. But if Dad was gone, because he disappeared frequently to do things to help the Jews, then this boy had to milk the cows on his own. And one night, the evening, the father had says, "You don't need to milk the cows in the morning. I'll do it. Go ahead and sleep in." And then he said the next morning that his mother's waking him up, going, "Get up, get up, get up! You've got to milk the cows." And he goes, "Wait, Dad said he was going to do it." And he says, "No, your dad was taken away." And so we'll probably never see him again. And so he had to go out and milk all those cows, knowing that his dad was probably dead. And I think in the story they said he did show up somewhere down the road later, and there was a whole other story for that too. But I don't know. That story touched me. Obviously you could tell, but I think um, that was part of the reason I got passports for Kinsey and myself. Because something I had read or heard recently too is when several of the Jews in Germany saw the writing on the wall and got away before it got bad. And the others who didn't see the writing on the wall or refused to accept what the possibilities of what was happening stayed. And a lot of them ended up in Auschwitz and other internment camps and in the gas chamber and stuff like that. And I explained that to Kinsey when I did the passport I love America. I would rather be here. I've only been in a couple other countries, but even as, I was going through Canada back in late 80s, no, early 80s, and the people there were wonderful. They were nice and everything. But boy, the feeling of being in the United States of America was just, when we crossed the border into Sweetgrass, Montana, which was nothing, I still felt relief to be in my own country. But things change. Things change all the time, regardless of, you can say, well, yeah, the way things are going in our country right now. Yeah, yeah, maybe so. I really feel like our president is really trying to get rid of all of our freedoms and really just run us all to the ground. But I don't know. But I want Kinsey to have a passport. So if she ever feels like she needs to get away for a while or needs to move or whatever, or just to go on vacation, okay? But if she really has the need, she has that tool where she can leave immediately and not have to wait for passports to come about. Now, and a thought just occurred to me on that one too is um, the lady who helped us with getting our passports and stuff together. She said they're busy, 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 and have been for a few weeks. And I'm going, well, are they just because they're going on vacation or what? She goes, yeah, some of it. A lot of them want to know where they're going, or they know where they're going and they need a passport for it. And others just want to have one, like ourselves. Maybe Kinsey and I might go on a cruise one day. And if a lot of the cruises, you need a passport because you're going into other countries and stuff. So, um, yeah, I don't want to say that there's a need right now to prepare to get out of the country, but if you have a tool, and I want Kinsey to have that tool if she needs it. I'm not saying she's going to need it. I'm not saying that that's an issue right now. But if she needs it, I want her to have it. And I really admonished her to keep it current over the years, like I did not. And so I'm like I said, I've started all over. Okay. Oh, and okay. On a much lighter note, this is weird. My cat disappeared, Sydney, and part of me is going, oh, okay, maybe he found another home or whatever. And you wonder, and he is spending more time outside and stuff. And so we thought, okay, maybe he just found somebody else to take him in or something like that. But you also worry at the same time, going, okay, is he hurt? Did something happen to him? I don't want anything bad to happen. I don't want the cat. Certainly don't want him in my house. But he feels like this is where he belongs and this is where he's doing. But anytime an animal disappears, you wonder what happened to him. Where are they? What is going on? And so you just kind of want a little closure in the thing. And then the next day, he was still not around. I did chores. I was doing two of the other things, and I was getting ready to go somewhere. I was ready to go to church on Sunday morning, and I open the car door, and I don't ever get in because I just stick my head in, turn on the ignition, make sure that the temperature's right for, if we had air conditioning the day before, we might need defroster in the morning or something like that. Make sure the radio's off and stuff like that. Well, I turned on the ignition, and my windshield wipers are going blue, 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 and my left turn signal was on, and there's a cat sitting there looking at me and meowing. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So, and what we believe is I had the trunk open or the back hatch on my car open while we were unloading the feed the day before. And apparently he crawled in the car, found a place, because he wasn't in the back of the car when we unloaded the feed, and he didn't show himself we whenever we started closing up. So apparently he spent and there's cat hair all over the inside of that car. But the cat's okay. He's back. Well, he's not in the house now. He's outside exploring again. But yeah, the cat's okay and doing well. Um, okay, so my question of the day for you guys is, as we go into June and soon into the summer months, basically June 21st, I believe, is the first day of summer. What are some of the changes that you're experiencing, and how are you going to be handling them? And I'd say that's a question, and I just made it into two, but you understand what I'm saying. So I would love it if you share with me some of the changes that you're experiencing right now as your seasons change. Okay, my income producing activity of the day is the fold card. That is a prepaid debit card that you get at no charge. You set your account up, and they send you a card, You can do it without a card, but it's a lot better with a card. Setting up your account, because a lot of people do stuff online and stuff too. But I like having a physical card because when I go buy milk or whenever I go buy feed or something like that, you prepay and it's easy to do. You can set it up where there's a certain amount that automatically goes into that, like every payday or whatever, and then you can automatically fund it through a debit card or a bank account or something like that too. And so it's really nice. And so every time you use it, you earn a few satoshis, which is uh, many pieces of Bitcoin. So it doesn't cost you any more you're not buying Bitcoin, you're buying what you need, and you're getting bits of Bitcoin as you do it. And then, of course, every day you can just do a spin, and you can have a chance to earn more satoshis and stuff too. So I like it. It's over time it builds up, and I think after a month after the latest transaction, you can transfer it, get it off of that onto a uh, not a wallet, but your hard, you know, ask somebody who knows more than I do. But you can exchange it into US dollars if they want to, or you can change it to somewhere where it's not on this Fold wallet. But I'm really liking this. I like the card itself. It's a beautiful black with some gold lettering. It's kind of sharp looking, and it's kind of funny whenever I actually use my Fold card. People go, "Oh, what's that?" So I have a link in the show notes down below, and you can check it out and sign up for a Fold card. Bitcoin goes up and down, but the dollar goes up and down. The stock market goes up and down. So, hey, it's part of life. All right. I can be found on Grandma's Homestead.farm. That's my website. Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel. That's my main YouTube channel. I have a Farm Animal Knife YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram and I am on Facebook and MeWe and Twitter. But those are under various deliberations of um, theciaellis. But I'm also on TikTok, and I have to admit, whenever the piglets were little, I did several little things of the piglets and put them on TikTok and everyone. And as I collect quotes, so I do a quote or scripture. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So, so I do a little short thing of TikTok of quotes or scriptures and stuff. Okay, I guess I'm going to get off of here if I'm going to start sneezing. I don't know what my deal is. But all right, guys, live until you die and get ready for your next season. Get ready for your next season and look forward to your next season. Find something to do, get up off the couch. Enjoy your lives, guys. God bless. I'll see you next time.